Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. Calon FM.
Now, on the 21st of March, the Stiwt Theatre in Rhodes will be staging the movie Here Soon. This one stars Welsh actor Mark Lewis Jones, who also hails from Rhodes, and he will be in attendance on the night and will be doing a Q&A following the performance. I caught a word with Mark last Saturday, and here he is on the Stage and Screen show to explain all.
The last time we spoke, funny enough, was during lockdown. You were kind enough to come on our 24-hour radio show that we had for the NHS, and seems a long time since then. How's it been for you?
Well, I mean, I was very lucky, Andy, because, most of lockdown I managed to work, and so, I was one of the fortunate people who, we were regarded as essential workers, TV and film actors, so I was able to continue working. So it's been nice coming out of lockdown. It's been nice to get back to work properly, but all good really, and happy to be free again.
yeah, absolutely. But it did literally feel like we were. I mean, locked down. We all felt locked up, and it was. It must have been quite nice to get out and just do what you meant to do. But was it very different filming during lockdown?
Oh, goodness me, it was really strange. We had, continual testing almost daily, social distancing on set, which you can imagine is not easy. All the crew wearing masks, which is in itself a bit strange, because then when you re-meet them now, I don't recognise them. It's just, and they say, "Oh, we worked on so-and-so together," and I say, "I'm sorry, I've only ever seen your eyes." So it is nice to get back to normality, let's say, and the stuff I've been doing recently, it's just as it was pre-lockdown, But as you just said earlier, it all feels so far away from us now. It feels so long ago, and it is only a couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very strange. But I was looking. I was looking earlier, and you were in a thing called Third Day with Jude Law, and I remember that had to be rejiggled because of COVID. And
very much so, yeah.
And you've worked on 15 projects since then. It's just so bizarre. I mean, it seems a long time ago, but not really that long at all.
I know. Third Day was an interesting thing because it was on an island called Osea off OSEA off Essex.
Right.
And so we filmed it all there, and with the usual protocol, but because it was an island, they had sort of, everybody that was on the island, if they'd been there long enough and they'd been tested, we were kind of, in a way, it was the COVID-free place, And we had to do part of the deal, if you like, was to do this sort of 24-hour thing with Punch Drunk Theatre Company, where we filmed 12 hours straight, part of the story. So meant to be a festival. Obviously, that got brought down to. So Florence and the Machine came, and we did this. We did this thing. But as I said, when we did the last kind of day, and we had a party. It was the only place I knew of in the United Kingdom where you could hug, because we were all definitely COVID free because we'd been there for a week.
Yeah,
and we'd all been tested before we got there. Nobody had gone off or on the island. So it was. It was a strange situation, but yeah.
Very, very. I mean, it was. I mean, I talk to people now, and they tell me what they had to do just to get into a studio, and you think, God, you forget, don't you? Anyway, let's not harp on about lockdown because we're back to normal now, and it's all wonderful. And you're about to bring your a brand new piece. It's called Here Soon. It's coming to the Stiwt. We'll talk about that in a sec if that's all right, because last year you did the Welsh Comic Con, which must have been an interesting thing.
I've done that a couple of times now. I've done it in Glyndŵr University a couple of times, and I've been in lots of shows that sort of, if you like, qualify for Comic Con, and Outlander, recent Outlander, and Star Wars, of course, and Game of Thrones and stuff, and Torchwood. So, but it's one of those things that I never did earlier on, but I've started doing. Not very many, but I have started. and you meet the loveliest people. You know, you really do, and they all come dressed up.
Yeah.
And some of them are quite wacky, but they are, you know, honestly, you won't meet a nicer bunch of people. Honestly,
It's
they're
so
lovely,
funny
and they're
because on the day of the Comic Con, you walk round. I mean, you know it's on because you walk round Sainsbury's or somewhere, and you know you turn around and Darth Vader's looking at you. And then they don't hold back, do they?
Oh no! They're quite. I mean, you know, they're very dedicated, passionate people towards these films and the characters and the series that they watch. You know, they're completely dedicated to it. You know, it's become a little society of its own. You know, and a community to itself. And they really are. They are. I don't know whether it's because they, you know, the sort of type of films they like, but rubs off on them or what. But they are the most delightful people and lovely and wacky.
Yeah, the best type, I find.
I find too.
Yeah. But you've had a fantastic career. I mean, you've just named 4 things off the top of your head there, which are just, you know, they're shows and films that will go down in history. But your career spans back to the early 80s with 25 movies, I counted, over 90 TV shows, playing every conceivable character that you can think of. Has there been a highlight for you, I wonder?
Oh, there's been lots of highlights. I've been asked this recently. You know, the very first thing I filmed on camera was a drama for BBC One called Heartland.
Yeah.
This was in 1988, and I'd left college in 86, done theatre and education in Harlech and Mold, where we first met, my friend.
Yeah.
And right in Outreach, I worked there, and... But my first thing I ever filmed on camera was playing Anthony Hopkins' son. So that's always been a highlight for me, you know. He was wonderful. And I mean, you know, stuff that pops into my mind. The episode of The Crown I did, I loved, you know, playing Teddy Millwood. And again, that had Welsh in it and went on to Netflix, you know, and they subtitled it. And, you know, more recently, Dalamech has also been... is shot in Welsh, completely in Welsh, and is going on Netflix again, subtitled. You know, so it's I got many highlights, and I worked with some wonderful people. But just carry on going. That's all I do, Andy. I just go from one to the next and just keep going as long as until I get found out.
Yeah. Well, you've worked with the biggest theatre companies as well, the biggest theatre companies in the world, the RSC and the Globe and the National Theatre. And as far as I can see, you've not, in a professional capacity, you've not worked up at Theatre Clwyd yet. Surely that's a box ticker, surely.
It's strange that, isn't it? I mean, I have actually. I got my equity card there, so it was my very first job.
Oh, beg your
pardon? It was a wonderful day. Yeah, no, I did. I did the Cornies Green. And I left college I went to college in Cardiff, the Welsh college, and a friend of mine, Stephen Parry, was playing Morgan Evans.
Yeah.
And bless him, he had Annie Castledown was directing, who was the assistant director of Theatre Clwyd at the time. Mm-hmm. And she needed some extra lads in for play the minors, you know, and he put in a word for me, bless him. And it was that time where you had to have an equity card to work, but you couldn't work without an equity card. You know, that old catch-22 thing has changed now. But so I went up there. I had one line, which I used to share every other night. I do it one night, and then another lad would do it the next night, and that's how we were. And we played the miners in the story of Morgan Evans in the Cornies Green, and it was wonderful. You know, I got my equity card, and that's the only job I've done in Theatre Clwyd.
Right. So there is.
I guess we need to change that at some point.
Yeah, we need to rectify that sharpish. But they're renovating it at the moment, so you can.
Yeah, so I hear. Yeah, well, as you know, great memories from that place. You know, where I first started acting in front of an audience, and we did some wonderful productions there with youth theatre. You know, so yeah, it's a very special place for me. That
I've noticed, you know, not just from yourself, but when people talk about their training, they name the Clwyd Youth Theatre, which I think says a lot for the talents from the Clwyd Youth Theatre over the years. I mean, it's been quite phenomenal, really.
It has, you know, and I would include myself in that group, you know, because I spent 3 years at the with the Stiwt Theatre, doing all sorts of things, and was involved in Clwyd Opera. So, got the chance to do Eugene Onegin and Beggar's Opera, as well as, Lark Rise to Candleford, Promenade production, Oedipus, Vincent, all sorts of things we did. And, I would say it was definitely a huge part of my training, before I went to drama school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, great experience, as it was for you, I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I couldn't have. I'd have been a very different person without it. That's for sure. But,
yeah, me too.
But I think you're another kind of original kind of actor where it's almost impossible to typecast you. I mean, you could be a convincing serial killer or Father Christmas. You're just one of those. Do you think that's down to luck, or how has that come about?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think there's a lot of luck involved in that, because I'm not in the luxurious position where I can just pick what I want to do. I'm not in that position, and I never have been. But I have seen projects come in where I've had to make a choice, because they clash.
Yeah.
And I've chosen, something that I haven't done before, and so that has been a kind of, personal policy, if you like, that, if I haven't done a character like that, I'll have a go at it, And as you say, they do differ vastly, because there was a point when I thought, this is quite a while ago now, I was playing a lot of detectives, like DIs, hard-nosed detectives, detective inspector this and detective inspector that.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm going to put them on one side for now, and not that I won't play them again now because it's been a while. But, it's important to me. Variety has always been a huge part of doing what I do. That's partly why I do it, because I guess I get bored easily. So, I love going from, character to character, and it's a very lucky position to be in.
Yeah. Brilliant. And before we just talk about this project up at the Stiwt that you're bringing, just a quick word about Netflix, because it's just been announced that their first Welsh-speaking drama, which I think you've just mentioned, in English it's Catch the Lightning, it's called, and it's the first Welsh-speaking drama on Netflix. It's a massive step for Welsh arts, right?
Oh, it's huge. It cannot be underestimated, this, Andy. It was shot last year, I think it was, this time last year we were filming it. And it's called Dalamech, and written by Hughes Roberts, and it's everybody enjoyed it on S4C. A lot of people watched it with subtitles, and a lot of people don't normally watch S4C watched it, and Netflix are taking it on and they're gonna subtitle it, obviously, So it's a massive step forward. This, the fact that so many people will now, first of all, get to know that there's a Welsh language.
Yep.
And hear us speaking it, in a drama, and be able to watch worldwide, be able to watch a drama that was shot and filmed in Wales in Welsh. That's extraordinary. And we've been commissioned for a second series, so all good. And it's a lovely bunch of people, lovely actors. And the writing's great, and it's a real nice little special job for me. I really enjoyed doing it, and looking forward to the next one. But the fact that it's going to be on Netflix is absolutely huge, really. That episode of The Crown I did, where I did speak Welsh. Mm-hmm. I was teaching. I played Teddy Millwood. Teddy Millwood taught Prince Charles to speak Welsh for his investiture, and it was dramatised as one of the episodes, I think, of the second series, I believe, or maybe it was the third series. There was a lot of Welsh because, of course, Teddy and his wife, Sylvia, they spoke Welsh together, so Netflix subtitled it. Yeah. And of course, in the listings of that series, that Crown series, it was called Tywysog Cymru, Welsh Prince, Prince of Wales, that episode was called, but they didn't subtitle that. They just put Tywysog Cymru. They were very unapologetic about it, which is a great thing. And the fact they've taken on Dalamech, Catch the Lightning, is another massive step forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very exciting, and I think people, as you say, you can't underestimate the power of Netflix. I mean, it's one of the biggest streaming, well, it is the biggest streaming platforms in the world. So you can't get better than that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, let's talk about this thing at the Stiwt. I find it for every now and again something makes me it pricks up my eyes, and I think, what a fantastic idea! It's the world premiere of this movie. I'm going to say the English. You can say the Welsh. It's called The Noise in English. Tell us about it. What's going on?
It's called Soon, and it's about. When Margaret Thatcher won the election in 1979, part of the manifesto was to create a Welsh language channel. So a channel that was dedicated entirely to Welsh. And they reneged on that, and they tried to kind of make out that what we'll do is we'll have Welsh programmes on the BBC kind of thing. And so a guy called Gwynfor Evans, who was a plaid politician at the time, said he was going to go on hunger strike. And so this caused a huge political turmoil at the time. So I play, so Margaret Thatcher is in it. I play Willie Whitelaw, who was the Home Secretary at the time. And it's that story, but it's being told in, excuse me, it's being told in such a way that makes it really draws you in. I have not seen the film yet. I'm seeing it on Wednesday. But those who have seen it have praised it highly. And it's directed by a guy called Lee Haven Jones, who is a I think brilliant director. Written by Roger Williams, and it's a fantastic, it's a great story, you know, and hopefully, you know, and it's being performed at the Stiwt. It's being shown at the Stiwt, which is the theatre in Rhos and cinema in Rhos, where I first watched my very first theatre production, which was Oliver, and I watched Jungle Book, which was the very first film I watched in that cinema. And so it'll be a very special night to go back there, you know, and with all my friends and people I know from the village watching this film about the setting up of Esbyrnec. But which has been massive in my life, you know, S4C, and continues to be, you know, Dalamate was made for S4C, you know.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And you mentioned earlier that there's been a misunderstanding that it's people think it might be all in Welsh, but it isn't. It's a multilingual, bilingual, right?
Yeah, it is bilingual. So Willie Whitelaw and Margaret Thatcher and others all speak English. So it's a bilingual film. And the Welsh bits are subtitled. So don't worry, anybody who wants to come and see it, please come. It's a big theatre. We want to fill it. And they will be subtitled. So, you know, please come along, bring the family. It's got a certificate of 12, I think, so it's fine for kids. And it's a great story, you know, and it's again, it's one of the huge steps forward for Wales and the language. You know, S4C was and continues to be. And as I say, you know, it has been and will continue to be a huge part of my life. You know, and you know, normally when I go to Rhos, I become Mark Davis again. You know, my original name.
Yeah.
So it's odd for me to go back and do some of my work there, as it were. I'm doing a Q&A afterwards, which will be very relaxed and informal. But yeah, I'm doing a chat afterwards as well with somebody. So yeah, I'm thrilled it's got a showing there, and it's the first time this has happened to me. I normally go home and stay under the radar, see the family and friends, and come away again, you know.
But the history of the Stiwt is quite remarkable. From the story of when it was developed, why it was developed, and how it was developed, and then it went into wreck and ruin, and now it's I mean, the restoration effort was just phenomenal. I mean, there's a movie to be made just on the theatre, isn't there?
I mean, there really is, you know, the history, as you say, the history of it is fantastic. Mining community, the miners paid I think a penny a week each or something to build it. It's a phenomenal building.
Yep.
Absolutely wonderful. And as you say, you know, it went into rack and ruin. I remember going in there, so this would have been in the late 80s to look at it, because we were going to do a show called Rhos 1990, which is the thing that kick-started the rejuvenation and the renovation of it.
Uh-huh.
And I remember going in there, and it was incredibly sad, and I was in there the other day. I was visiting my parents and family, and I went down to have a chat about this, about soon. And honestly, it's absolutely beautiful inside. You know, they've, I mean, in and out, they've done an absolutely wonderful job. It's worth coming just to have a look at the Stiwt. Believe me, it's really wonderful.
Yeah. Well, my son's done done a few things in there. He's in he's in a choir called John's Boys, and they're based in Rhos.
Is he?
Yeah, and but when you go in there, you can feel the history. It's one of those buildings where, and there's pictures up everywhere of how it was, and it almost gives you goose pimples just walking around the place, as you say.
It really does, And I when I went back there more recently, I had a tour around, and he took the guy who runs it, Rhys Davies. He took me around the whole building, and it really is. It's something for us, not just Rhos, for the whole of North Wales to be immensely proud of, that building.
Yeah. Definitely. But before I let you go, I know you're a fan of Wrexham, of course you are. Very exciting things happening at the football club at the moment, and it's only a great thing for the town, right?
Oh, I mean, it's absolutely wonderful, isn't it? I mean, been waiting for this for many, many years, and Wrexham have been in the wrong division for a long time, and just keep winning now. Just keep winning. That's all they have to do is just keep winning. And I took one of my sons there, in this season. He said that this is the best atmosphere I've ever seen he's brought up in Cardiff, so he used to go to Cardiff City when they were in the Premiership as well.
Yeah.
And he says that the atmosphere, I think it was just 10,000, isn't it, the capacity at the moment.
Yeah.
And he said the atmosphere there was unbelievable, and it was a 5-0 as well, as it happens. So it was. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's the. If Wrexham get up this year, and please God let them, it would be the best news ever for that town. It really needs that boost. And you listen to the guy who runs the site said in the 7 Stars, talking about the difference it's made. All the cafes and restaurants and all the people, all the infrastructure of Wrexham is having a massive boost from it as well. I'm a massive Wrexham fan now.
Yeah.
I always have been.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I was going to forgot the name of your film there for a moment. As soon, the 21st of March at the Stiwt for its world premiere. It doesn't get much better than that. I've got to be honest with you. And people can buy tickets, can they? Anybody can go.
It's 7:30. Just contact the Stiwt, STIWT. And either you can pay online or you give them a bell and get your tickets. Yeah, it'll be great to see people there.
Fantastic. Mark Lewis-Jones, it's always a treat to speak to you, my friend. Thanks ever so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Oh, lovely. Thanks, Andy. Lovely to chat to you too, mate.
All the best, pal. You take care of yourself.
Diolch yn fawr. Ta-ra, pal.
Cheers.
So the world premiere of the movie I'r Soon will be staged at the Stiwt Theatre in Rhos on the 21st of March. And to get your hands on some tickets, box office number for the Stiwt 01978 841 300. 01978 841 300. Go on, support your local theatres, ladies and gentlemen. They won't be there forever if you don't.
Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. Calon FM.